well.
Senator
So
McCain?
what does it mean to the American people? It means that we are now facing an existential threat to the security of the United States of America.
So that existential threat to the security of the United States of America, I see you being very critical of the president's latest moves, and we can argue that, and perhaps there are some arguments to be made there. But what about going in the first place, and what about churning the hate? What about taking the Sunnis out of leadership positions in 2003? What about the fact that there might have been some parts of this that are on the previous administration that could be relitigated as well?
Well, what about the fact that we had it won? What about the fact that people like me said we've got to fire Rumsfeld, we've got to get the surge going? Yes, we did, finally. And what about the fact that General Petraeus had the conflict won thanks to the surge? And if we'd left the residual force behind that we could have, we would not be facing the crisis we are today. Those are facts. Those are fundamental facts. Now, I expected you and others to blame it on all these different events. The fact is we had the conflict won. And we had a stable government and a residual force such as we have left behind. We even have forces in Bosnia, Korea, Germany, Japan, where we could have, but the president wanted out, and now we are paying a very heavy price. And I predicted it in 2011. You can go back and look at the quotes.
Sam Stein, jump in.
Yeah, I just want to nail down what it means to have it won, I guess, because as we were when we were discussing the war, when we were debating the war, I thought the idea was that we would put up an Iraqi government that could be self-sufficient with an Iraqi military that could carry out operations. We spent $25 billion propping up that military, and it folds even despite having much greater numbers than ISIS. So I'm curious, what is the definition of victory? What is the definition of winning? Does it mean having a residual force basically without end date? I'm just a little bit confused. I want to know what victory is to you, Senator McCain.
I think you are confused because you didn't know what happened with the surge, where we basically had the country pacified. We had a stable government in Baghdad, and we had the conflict basically, for all intents and purposes, won. We've still got troops in Bosnia. A residual force would have stabilized the country. Military experts will tell you that. So I'm sorry about your confusion, but the facts on the ground were that Al-Qaeda had been defeated almost completely, and with a residual American force, and at that time, a strong Iraq. Now Maliki was very weak, and Maliki got worse after we left. And again, I knew this was going to happen because we didn't leave that force behind. And so I'm sorry about your confusion, but anybody who was there will tell you we had the conflict won.